Hello everyone,
Hello.
welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to talk about the cultural difference that affect us. But we were kind of thinking about it, but it was very difficult to find like cultural differences that actually affect us.
There's obviously big differences among our two cultures, but to find the differences that actually affect us as a couple was honestly quite hard to find, and we didn't just want to create something just for a video. I think one of the reasons why there's not many things that affect us is Min has been outside of the country and gone to an English-speaking country. I have been living in Korea for over 6 years now. So any major culture things I have kind of adjusted to or have accepted. And Min has been around many Western people and traveled to other places. So he's also been accustomed. If there were some things, we can't really notice them since we already have accepted them, and they don't really phase us in our daily lives.
So we don't have many things that affect us because I think it's just we are a different person, like different people
Yeah.
as a human being,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I agree. I think the problems that we run into aren't necessarily due to our different cultures, but just us being different people. Maybe I like to do this and he likes to do that, but because we like it that way, it doesn't necessarily come from our culture background, just as people, because there's many people in my culture who like to do it Min's way, and many people in Min's culture who like to do it my way. Many of the strict cultural views, at least here in Korea, are slowly starting to fade out, such as tattoos. The older generation still has a stigma against things like that, but as newer generations come, they are definitely becoming more open-minded. Korea is still growing, has a long way to go, but most of the very harsh stigmas are slowly dying out, so it doesn't really apply these days. But I guess we can name a few things that are different that kind of bother us, I guess you can say. One would be the drinking. Obviously, they have a very heavy drinking culture. In the West, where I'm from, in America, obviously people drink a lot, but normally we drink for a celebration, a party, like you're going out clubbing, just hanging with your friends. But if you are drinking like hardcore just randomly in the week, then most people would find that alarming. But here it is quite common to drink soju, which is their local hard liquor. Some people can drink it almost every night, right?
So in Korea, we have this culture, kind of like age doesn't matter because we have to respect older people. And when you drink soju, when older people offer you, then you shouldn't reject it. So you kind of have to drink it because that affect the ambience of the table. And I'm not kind of light drinker. I'm kind of lightweight, and it's kind of like stressful for me.
Yeah, and for me as well. Like, we are both not drinkers, but when we go to his families, they always like to push Min a lot, even though he will drink one, obviously to be respectful, but they will keep having him drink more and more. So it's very hard on him and his body. And just for me to see, because I know afterwards he is not going to feel good at all. So it definitely kind of gets me annoyed that I wish the peer pressure to drink more and more wasn't so high. So that does happen. It doesn't ruin our relationship at all. It just is kind of like a stressful time when that time comes, and we try to prepare for it.
One thing is a language barrier. Sometimes like I want to say like my mind, but in Korean I can do it. But in English, because I've never done it before, So I don't know how to express this feeling, and I don't know how it sounds like to her. So I'm kind of always like hesitant to say it. I think it could affect her feeling, even though like I don't intend to do it. So I think for me, it's the one thing is language barrier.
Yeah, I could see that for many couples who have, two languages. Definitely always keep in mind the other person's background and their heart and intentions. If you truly understand the person, then I think you will understand their intentions no matter what they say.
There's one more thing, wedding culture. So wedding culture. Yes. So in I think Western wedding and our wedding style is quite different. I think. I think Western they have more like make it more special, like try to be special and creative. But Korea is more systematic.
It has a set way that almost everyone follows.
Oh
right?
yeah, like do this, and done.
Yes, where in America there is, but there's a lot of variants that can be added in, taken out. Where in Korea, the amount of things that you can add to make it individualistic is not that much compared to America.
Yeah, but of course,
or Western.
like not all Korean like have like that.
Right.
But generally, they systematic wedding. So we are going to think about if we have a wedding, how we're gonna do. Should we have a in Korea or in America or both? Like,
because obviously, other than it being systematic, there are some different things that happen in the Korean wedding, such as bowing to the parents, versus in the Western world where we do not have that. So we definitely have to figure out how to blend it. We don't want to do just one version. So that is something that's very different that we will have to tackle on in the future. Another kind of big difference would be our food. Obviously, Korean food and Western food is a lot different. Not talking about that because we pretty much like all food, but the fact in how they eat the food. In the Western world, we are very individualistic. So when we order, typically a person will order their food and another person will order their food, and so on and so forth. And if you're curious on how your friends or family members' food tastes, you would have to ask them. Where here in the Asian side of the world, they share food more often. When you order, you kind of order with the mind of everyone's going to eat it, everyone's going to share, so let's not order the same thing. And then you're going to probably put it in the middle of the table and everyone can just pick off everyone's plate. Now, I love that mentality because then you are not just stuck with one food. You have a variety, especially if you're with a group of people. But there's sometimes when it's just me and Min and we order, and he orders something and I order something, and then he just eating my food, and I have no problem with him eating it, but maybe he likes mine more, so he eats more. In my head, I'm like, you're eating all of my food.
Really?
Yeah, but I remember that his food is also mine. But it's very hard for me when we have distinct plates in front of us for me to reach over and just eat so much. But then it never causes any arguments. Just in my head, it's just that's how I eat. So it's hard. Sometimes he does it, I have to look. I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'll just take a big bite of his next time. I think as it goes for how we live, we take off our shoes, we use chopsticks, and we live in Korea, so we follow many of the Korean culture. As for holidays, we celebrate all the holidays, mine and his. We do Chuseok and Seollal, we do normal New Year's, we do Christmas. Not that Koreans don't do Christmas, but it's not celebrated as heavily. So we definitely just blend it all to make one big mixed culture. So I think that is all we have for today. Oh, I would like to say that for interracial couples, the best thing that they can do to overcome any culture differences or differences as people is to be very understanding and to always understand that the other person does come from a totally different background, and they can possibly do something that you find very strange or you cannot accept at all. It's not always about who's right and who's wrong, because no culture is right and wrong in what they do. So you just have to listen and accept and find the middle point.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching, and like, comment, subscribe. If you have any specific questions that you have for us, maybe about our culture differences, like how we might handle some things that you guys know of, comment down below. We pretty much answer to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you all for watching again, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
I'll do this.